Welcome to Shifting from Grudge to Grit, Grace, and Gratitude. And I am so excited to be hosting. Is it Angélique? Am I saying it correctly?
Yes, Angélique. So you're very close.
Angélique.
Yes.
Yes, because it's French. Is it French?
Yeah, it is. I have a little accent on my
Angélique.
E.
Yes, definitely. So I'm so grateful to host you. She's coming to us all the way from New Brunswick, Canada, a place that I am certainly looking forward to visit one day. Can't wait to connect with Angélique there, and maybe we'll have some fun frolicking, whether it is in the mountain ranges or in the snow, which is going to be extremely cold. Are
Yes.
you having your winter there right now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Real one.
Yes,
A real one.
a
Always.
real one. So I just want to say thank you for those that are joining us from LinkedIn, those that are here on Instagram and YouTube. As always, this is not just about me talking and Angélique. You're most welcome to contribute, participate, leave us with your comments and ask questions to Angélique. She is our special guest here today. So let's tap into her wisdom and her insight. I am really sorry to say that my co-host is yet again not with us, who's still recovering. And so let's keep her in thoughts, in prayers, as she heals and recovers so that we get to see her next week because she does bring quite a bit of valued insights. So, as I said to Angélique, I'm not in my usual spot today. I just want to read her bio. So, let's get into just speaking about what our topic is going to be. I like this from farm girl to TEDx, the courage to be seen. So we are with Angelique for a conversation around visibility, courage, and the inner work it takes behind stepping into the spotlight. From rural France to the TEDx stage in the USA and building social media love in Canada. Angelique's journey is more than external success. It's a story of healing, self trust, and learning to feel safe being seen. Because visibility isn't just a strategy, it's a transformation. It's grit, it's grace, and it's becoming. So, a short bio. Social Media Love is a training and consulting company that helps.
Oops.
If you are still there, let's get you back. Let's get you back. Did we lose you there for a moment?
Yeah, everything froze.
We've
And
got you
then
back.
I'm glad I'm back too. I heard the bio and everything.
Okay, so you're back. So you know what? Let's not read more. Let's not continue with the bio. Let's hear it from you and let's kick off with you sharing how did where did this quest start? Because this was an adventure from a rural farm to the big USA onto a TEDx platform, which is terrifying for most of us that have done it. So tell us what of this.
So everything started, as you said, in France, and that's what I really love about your work as well, Anissa.
Over
I
to
don't know
you.
if can you hear me? I see your image frozen a little bit, so I hope
Yes, I
you
can.
can hear. Okay. So everything started in France, and I always say it
Okay.
started as a little girl, in my dreams. Because literally, I don't know if you've been to France before, but I was in a village of
Yes.
250
Mhm.
people. So literally, there is a little church. There is a castle, there is a beautiful lake, there is a few houses, and then there are some farms in the fields around the village. And my family was around the village. And so all I could see when I woke up in the morning was those fields. And I remember, as a kind of around 10 years old, I was spending all my free time in the fields and in the woods. And I was building cabins where I would set up my little house. Kind of now that I look back, I think it was a shrink, kind of. I was going there with my dog and my cats, and I would kind of redo the world. And I would imagine a world with no wars and all this from the field, right? And I'm like, what? I remember saying, like, what can I do, like, to help the world feel better? Because I was obsessed with wars. I couldn't understand why people didn't feel love. So I had that very beautiful imagery around how to bring love, more love in the world as a little girl. And I remember asking myself, but how the heck do I get out of here in my field? Like, nobody knows me. I am like, the culture around farming in France, and this is where the story really kicks in with the belief work and the imposter syndrome. And I know you're very familiar in all of this, right? When you're a farmer, there is that stigma that you stay a farmer. And I was called a dirty butt my whole life at school. So,
Wait, hold on. Just say that again. You were called a dirty?
but yes, that's how. That's the kind of a wording. I don't know if the people still say that. Probably. It's basically you
Oh
have.
my God.
Yeah. So at first, it's easy to talk now that I'm 51, and look back. But coming from that belief system that when you are a farmer, and my parents were farmers for generations, and they were renting their land to a castle. So it was really medieval still, and it was in 1975, 1980s. So that culture of the medieval, like the small guys and the big guys, and kind of, that was very present in me. And that kind of shaped my belief system. Plus, the external circumstances at school, people would point out to me that I was stinking cows and like all the bullying around this. And then me and my big dreams, how the heck am I going to make it happen? And you don't know, right? When you are in those ages. And I didn't know anything about what people call manifesting, like when you have a dream. And I had big dreams. And that dream, it started to manifest. And I didn't know it was that. But the very first time that my parents took us to Paris for a show, it was like a kid singer, very famous. And they surprised us, we're gonna go to Paris. So that was like, wow, Paris from the farm. Like, it was 2 hours from our farm. And we're gonna go in that huge show place by the Champs-Élysées to see that woman. So when I came into the show place, all I could see, Anissa, I was maybe 12, was all the camera people. And at the time, it was in the 80s, right? Those huge, enormous cameras with kilometers of cords that you had to pull through the whole venue. And I was watching them and I was like, wow, what if I do that? Like, that was kind of the first time that it hit me that it could be my way out of the farm, that I could become someone who document the world with my camera. And guess what? Let's forward this. 15 years after, I become a TV reporter in Canada. I have my own camera and I work for the national TV. So this kind of how my life started, like, I started to realize that whatever you have in your heart will just show up in your life. So that's kind of the starter of everything for me.
I get goosebumps because it's like you had this awe, this unwavering belief, and you chose not to be a victim of bullying, whatever pain and difficulty You use that pain in pursuit of knowing that your life was meant for more. And I love the fact that you instinctively knew. You said you were 12
Yeah.
when you were at Champs-Élysées. I know I always get that pronunciation wrong, but I
No,
love that
you got
place.
it. It's so cute the way you say it. It's make it even more fancy and special.
I was there. I was there a couple of years ago, so I know what magic is around that. And imagine still with all these cameras and all these the excitement and energy of, whoever is around you in that moment is like, I deserve to be there. That should be me. And that belief from 12 years old to keep that, knowing that when we are around people that don't have beliefs or those that bully, they will do whatever it takes to make you believe that you're less than and you're not good enough and you are in this dream la la land
Yeah.
and that you need to give up on this dream, get real, stay in your lane as a farmer, as you said. So, who did you have along the way on this journey to almost nurture that belief? Or did you hold on to it yourself? And what made you hold on to it?
Yes, I love this question. So, again, this is a beauty of aging. All along, life brought me mentors. And at the
Yeah.
time, I think it's at 20 that I realized, and I made it a rule, if someone shows up in your life, it's a door to somewhere. You don't have to know where. So I realized, around 15, I started to do babysitting for people who were living in the castle. Okay. But those people in the
Yay!
castle, I got access to the castle, or it was like almost a castle, but whatever. But those people
Yeah.
were from Paris, and every weekend they would come to the countryside in their little castle, and then they needed a babysitter. So I started there, and the woman who was the mom, she saw in me, like, I didn't say anything, but I believe we have kind of people who protect us all along the way. It connects, and they see what others don't see. And she propelled me. She said, you got to study to Paris. So remember, I'm a farmer. Farmers don't study to Paris. They don't go to the best university of Europe, or the oldest university of Europe's. They don't do that. But she saw
Yeah.
me. She said, girl, you go to Paris for your higher education. Like, and then she kind of, all those years, she showed me the world from another angle. And then she never doubted that I would make schools in Paris, and I did. That's where I did my higher education. And so that's one of the mentor. But at every step of the way, once in Paris, I had other mentors, and then I trusted that that's how life works. Basically, you don't have to do it alone. I was not probably verbalizing it like this, but I
Yeah.
took every people on my path took me to the next level, next level, next level. And that's why, I know you're very big on gratitude. Like when I do my gratitude every day, um, I usually focus on the day or future gratitude. But when I go back in the past, I think of all those people who opened doors for me. And when I hear people say, well, those people, they got this because they know that person. I mean, it's all about who you know, but are you open to see the person on your path so that you can to get them? You have to show up for them too, right? So this is kind of a really like a baton from one person to another. That's how I see it. And I think that's how my journey happened. It started in the field, and then it's still continuing, and my dreams are bigger and bigger because now I know how it works. And it's scarier and scarier because the minute you have something in your heart, you're like, oh my God, and you have no idea how you're going to do it. But that's okay. You have to trust there will
Yeah.
be a mentor on the way, a baton somewhere.
Angelique, I love everything that you just shared, but the part that resonates the most is that you were awake to witness that there are people along the way. More importantly, it's about your lens. You use the word, that this person had the lens to see, but you too had the lens to know that it was about seeing things from a different vantage point. It was about perspective and not perception. It was not
Mm.
about the perception that I am only meant to stay at the farm. It was, how do I change the lens around this and my perspective that I am not meant to traverse this journey by myself, but I need to be open to receive that there are people along my journey that will hold that sacred space or hold the mirror up and reflect back to me what that wonderment and possibility would look like for me if I stay the course, right?
Yes,
So
if I stay the course. Yes, that's a key
stay
part.
the course. And the baton, I like it to say the baton, because in the hero's journey, which I'm very passionate about speaking, in that hero's journey, you are called to a quest. And how profound that your quest started at 12 years old and you answered that call. You heeded that call to adventure, and nothing, well, I'm assuming nothing because you wouldn't be talking about this today. But was there potentially anything that tried to knock you off the path, deter you from moving forward? Because sometimes we have experiences like loss or grief that doesn't deter us from taking it, but could set us off on a pause. Did you have any of those type of
Oh
experiences?
yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. So the ones that I'm gonna share is because I heard yours on your TEDx. You talk about how, you know, who am I without my job? When
Yeah.
that hit you. So
Mhm.
that was for me a key moment. So that's when I live in Canada. I've been a TV reporter for the Canadian Broadcast Organization for almost 10 years. And then my so I have a family by this time, so that's kind of one of the gift on the way of the baton. And then for whatever reason, so my husband got moved to another province here where we live right now. So I decide to resign from my TV job because we had a baby and I wanted to really, I was done with running every night, like to be two reporters as parents, that
Yeah.
doesn't work with a baby. and
No,
then
no,
and
no.
then I started communication and visibility work, like not from a reporter point of view, but in the PR world. So with politicians, and so that's a totally different type of communication. But so I
Mhm.
got very, very involved in this and I got to like it a lot. And then it was a government job that cut my job with a little boy that was 2. And then the first time, so I never had the experience. Number one, I was like, like you take everything personally, like the ego hurts, and
Yeah.
and the fear of losing and living in the street and all the worst scenarios. Like you think that your everything is your job basically. And so that was kind of first time. Then I found another job that I like, got cut again, my job. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, that's it. Like, no, no, no. That's why people become entrepreneurs. Like there is no more someone telling me no more money right now, I'm gonna close the tap water for you. So this is when it
Yes.
kicked in, that instead of the victimhood things, what can I do? And you know what it did, Anissa? It brought back all my kind of core vision for myself. So I started to create my business on the side. And then this is how, that was a big kick in the butt, basically, right? So that
Yes.
was one of the major things. It was a work thing, but it had so much an impact in my family and in my nervous system. And then I realized that I am capable to generate, my own revenue. And that's another story, right? But that was a big kicker. Another one that really hit me recently health. So, and this is why
Oh,
I,
that's a big one. That's a
yes,
big
so
one, right?
yes, and that's why it's very important to me. Like when I, you know, a big part of my job is to help women entrepreneurs to build a digital footprint online so that they can find clients on the internet, but at what cost? And that's what happened to me. I kind of forgot that I had a body and I built that business for 10 years. And then I got to ER and they couldn't find any, like I had a pulmonary embolism and they couldn't find any reason why. Like I did all the tests you could even imagine. But I know, like looking back, that it's because I was not listening to my body. I was like just a head building a business. So this is why, 5 years ago, I really started to bring mind, body work, like neuroscience, all those beautiful words we use, so that we can hear, you know, the body has so much wisdom, which I didn't know until very recently, until my,
Yeah.
mid 40s, right? So this is a new dimension in the building of the dream now, because I'm not moving without listening to my body first. So that was another big kick in the can in terms of path.
Yeah. And I can relate to it. And I mean, as you know, today, for those that don't know, I'm celebrating another year around the sun, and it's my version 4.7 day today. And I sat this morning after prayer in such gratitude for my health and well-being, for the gifts of the people that I'm surrounded by, for the people that I'm able to serve. But at the same time, I realize something is that I'm not necessarily serving from a full vessel. And so this hits home for me, Angelique, because we're so invested into growth and serving and, empowering others that we sometimes can forget to heed our own advice, holding, and support that we give others. So it was a big one for me this morning. And I was joking and I was saying, it's my birthday and I'll cry if I want to. I was crying from a place of gratitude because what I'm also not realizing, and for many that are listening, without your health, you have nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, who was there for you, Angelique, in the time when your health deteriorated? And were you afraid? Were you feeling fear and doubt and overwhelm? How did you pick yourself up in that moment? How did you get out of your head? Because now
Yeah,
one goes in your head. How
yeah.
did you shift out of that?
So I remember the very first, so I did three pulmonary embolism in a row, like one a year. And each time I noticed it was before a big leap in my business or in my personal life. So that's how I understood, okay, my body is really like, I really got to have my body on board when I do a big thing, because otherwise it's going to send me again at ER and I'm done with this. So the very first time I remember, like literally I didn't know what a pulmonary embolism was. So it went far enough that I almost died. And then I was literally in a chair, like in an armchair, couldn't move,
No.
couldn't breathe. All I had, I was like, my mind was like, okay, so I've built all of this, the business, the family, the living abroad, you know, for that. And that's it. This is the end. So that was the first phase. So the fear, of course, of not being able to be myself anymore. That was number one. But then after that, when I started to be a little better and eat and stuff, I was like, okay, if I ever go back to business the way I was before, I I had to promise to myself that it had to be coming from the heart fully, no more forcing, no more like to be so, no more like filtering what I want to say, because we just have one life. So I felt death so close that it really deepened my marketing and the way I sell. It's interesting, right? Because you would like, it doesn't sound like very marketing oriented, but it brought so much truth about the limited time we have, and the big dreams I have, and all the people I help on the way, that I cannot reframe myself anymore whenever I'll be able to go back online. So even I had a VA at the time, and I was like, we're going to keep posting. We're going to do the all things. You take care of it. I couldn't even engage on it. Was too much. I had no energy. So she
Yes,
rescheduled a bunch of stuff from the past years. And this is when I realized, Anissa, that I was saying that before, that when you are online and you have a visibility like you and I have, this is
yes.
no joke. It's not
Mm-mm.
just marketing, it is
Yeah,
building a family online. So when my
yes,
VA started to reschedule stuff, I thought it would be like done and I don't have to take care of it and don't worry
yes.
about it. But I felt that connection energetically with the content that
Mm.
was still going, and it was too much for my body, even knowing that, like, could feel it. So we had to stop everything. I could not show my face anymore. I couldn't put, because I realized how much energy and love, the name of my business is Social Media Love. I really genuinely love my people online. And so that day, I had to prioritize. If I want to serve those people, I really have to stop everything and really focus on bringing the love in, right? Fully healing. And so it took time and
Sure,
patience
that's
and
fine.
grace and gratitude.
Yes,
Yeah. And that, so now I come at it from a very different way. And when I see women losing their time in questioning what to say, I always go back. I'm like, I help women understand, what if you die tomorrow? What is the one thing you want to make sure people heard? Because we're
yes.
so wise. We have so much wisdom in us that helps others. We are the light of the internet. That's what I believe.
You are a beautiful light, Angélique. I'm listening to you and I'm getting goosebumps and so emotional listening to you because I am you and you are me, and somebody else is listening to us and they are resonating and vibrating at the same level right now, And so when you walk in your truth, you are like radically authentic and you are the lived experience and the embodiment of what you are putting out into the market. So one stepping away takes such courage to
Mhm.
say, I'm serving and I love what I'm doing, but right now I cannot serve from this particular space and energy because I would be in contradiction of the very thing that I'm saying is my purpose and the light that I want to bring to others. And I can resonate with you on that because I have to be honest, like I went quiet December, January, even the only thing I was consistent on was my lives. And I stopped posting because I wanted to know what am I leaving? And what you see is what you get. Like I said to you, Angelique, I'm raw, real, and unfiltered. We don't rehearse this. We don't want a polished version of this segment because as you're speaking, I hear that emotion, that deep emotion that you're speaking, and that visceral, almost feeling of as you articulating what you had lived through and have gone through, it has been the catalyst for you to remain almost intentional
Mhm.
and you are not going to give up on this because you know what you're serving is bigger than you.
Yeah.
It's for the greater good of everyone else that you are serving out there. I see there is a comment. Let's quickly read
Oh,
that.
Eleanor. Hello, Eleanor. Eleanor is in New Brunswick. She's part of our community. I'm so glad, Eleanor, that you meet
Oh,
Anissa.
thank you for being here. And I mean, yes, I am you, you are me. Wow. Yes, we are all connected. Ubuntu. Yes. And I'm intrigued to know how you have. Is it a term that you love and have discovered in South Africa? Because it does originate from South Africa, the
And
Ubuntu.
Anissa, you got to talk to Eleanor. Believe me, you're gonna love it. I'm not gonna say
I'm
more.
enjoying.
Yes. That's how connection works. The baton.
Yes, so I mean, like I hear the raw emotion in your voice, Angelique. So this experience may have happened a while ago, but it's still viscerally there and felt. And that is why when we show up in our truth, in our unfiltered authenticity, I believe authenticity is a superpower. And like you said earlier on, something quite profound, the near death experience, how does that relate to being part of marketing? It has everything to do with your marketing. Now, I do not like to show up as a persona that is politically correct for social media because then I don't want to be here. Because then I am just following the trend of
Mm-hmm.
what everyone is putting out there. And so, quite frankly, I don't care if my TEDx doesn't have millions of views. I don't care if only a handful of people show up every week on the live streams, because the intentionality is if we touch one person and give others permission through our stories that we are sharing here, that Angelique is so vulnerably saying, well, even in my belief that is so powerful since 12 years old, I have had to go into the darkness, into the abyss of it all, and I had to pick myself up again. I wasn't alone in this, but I needed to come back again because this was never about me in the end. So, with that being said, Angelique, now that you have in this hero's journey that we step into that unknown, we go into the road of trials, and you faced all these trials. Let's get to the story or the narrative arc of the insights and the wisdom that you have gained along the way. Would you like to share with us what are some of those golden nuggets that you believe others need to hear here today?
Wow. Ooh, I have shivers now. I have so many, but for the benefits of all of you watching now or the replay, like this is not just a saying, but your voice matters. No
Mm-hmm.
explanation needed. Your voice matters. Because there is always someone watching you that most of the time we don't know who we inspire. And when I say inspire, it's not in the very like, oh, you inspire me and that's it. Like literally people are drinking what you say and modeling what you do, not because you are their guru. It's because you are that life force that help them feed that life force to go through the bridge that they're crossing. And female entrepreneurs, we use our businesses to do that. This is the vessel of our mission. Most of the time, all the women I work with, there was something happen in their life, then build a business to bridge the gap, but not just to bridge the gap, to literally express their full vision of what the world should or not should, but would look like if everybody had the best intention and could work together, right? So we bring that piece, that brick of joy, of love, of transformation to whoever is ready to build the house with us. That's why it's always bigger than the business or the mission of the business. It's like it's building the world, literally. So that's number one. The second thing is that you can only grow you and your business and your visibility at the pace of feeling safe in your body, which requires to listen to your body, or the body is going to be loud so that you listen. Right? And so this is why, the bringing the nervous system regulation so that you are capable to do the big dreams that you have. This, because it's going to activate a lot of nervous system regulations, right? Because it's scary to go out there not knowing if it's gonna work and having no proof that it will work. But your desire is so strong that you got to trust that you're never alone. You
Yes.
always co-create, not only with the energy and the humanity and whatever you believe in, but the people on the path, like you and I, Anissa. Like, we didn't know each other 2 weeks ago, and I believe that there is a reason why you were on my path. And I thanks Jillian for this, your guest last week, because that's
Yes.
thanks to her. Like, Jillian and I, we have a very spiritual connection without any words. We are so connected. And then she showed up on my screen, and that was you. And then I just talked to you before the interview, and I can feel it, So believing in the magic of life is part of my other learnings.
Yes.
Believe even when external circumstances is showing you no proof that it can work. And when you say earlier, you said stay on course. This is why the work of bringing your vision, very often, like in my world, we do our vision exercise every year where we gather women together, and we not only build the vision, but we feel the emotion of our future in the present so that we can practice our vision every day. And then things come in your world, you are able to see them. Like right now, I can see my vision that started 3 years ago is happening, like every piece. I'm like, is that what it's gonna look like? And you have to be careful for what you wish, by the way. So be specific in your vision. That would
I
be my
love
other
that.
advice. So that's among many things, right? Those are the three things that really, for me, means help me move. And for my next growth phase, I know that, I have to remind myself that my voice matters, even when my mind is telling me, well, you don't belong. Yeah, I do belong. I'm alive. I
How
belong.
dare.
And then, prioritizing my energy, checking my nervous system, bringing to the nervous system what it needs to regulate so that I can open all the part of my brains that create beautiful projects. And then the third part is really making sure that I stay on course on my vision and honor my dreams, not my mind, because my mind, the mind is amazing, don't get me wrong, because when it's time to visualize
Yes.
and everything, but when it's time to do a new leap, the mind's gonna show you all the way it could go wrong. So this is a job. We have to prioritize our energy so that we can feel all our fears and regulate and take the aligned action towards our vision. Stay on course, as you said.
Wow, Angelique, there's so much there. There's so much more I want to tap into with everything that you've shared. Yet, the thing that's probably common ground for me in my current season as a woman entrepreneur and as a single mom and primary provider, which I share a lot of because my story, and I wrote a post actually on Sunday last week about this, where I said, I'm in a season that is a very dry season in my business. And I have people telling me, go and find employment again. Just get something stable. Why don't you just find a job and do your business as a side hustle? I have one guy friend that I've known for, I think, 35 years now. He's the one person in my life that says, you know what? You cannot make that shift now because where you are and the conviction and the belief and being this torchbearer to other women, you cannot make your business the side hustle. What you can go do is make other opportunities as a side hustle. So, as an example, take on fractional roles and take your gifts and talents and skills in environments where they could be found useful. Now, the reason why I share that about myself, what do we tell women that are out there that have the conviction and the courage, but yet have people that are near and dear to them in their circle that mean well, but are asking them to not stay the course and to redirect that course, put it on hold, and say, well, sorry, you need to come back to that at a later stage because right now the immediate need is money and survival. Now, what if your service and what you're serving is greater than you? And even if you need the money, that shouldn't be the be all and end all because you have other beautiful resources at your disposal. So, what would be your advice to people? Because this is, I think, at the center of where you are helping women in their businesses.
Yeah, I love, thank you for sharing this. I love this. And this is where listening to your body is, to me, the key of everything. So, because yes, if we can spend time listening to our circle that probably loves us and wish the best for us, but the key in
Yes.
this is really, what is your heart saying? And you cannot hear it if you don't allow yourself the space to hear it. And this is why, the somatic work that you and I read some stuff that you're very into somatic work too, right? The work, like, and when we say somatic, it sounds so like
Yeah, tell our
jargon.
audience what somatic. Please just unpack somatic a little bit.
So it's literally go for a walk. You move your body, you use your body to, what it does, energy is energy. It helps you move your energy. And then, so here's the thing, especially when we go through a season where I call this being in the gap, and I call this, who am I in the gap? So because all entrepreneurs, we go through what you described, right? There is no secret there, right? But who are we in the gap? So all me used to take that as a shaming moment, as you see, you will never get there, and listen to my mind and shrink, right? Now, what I would invite whoever is in that gap, what can I learn about myself in this gap? What else I am not seeing that I'm open to see that could lead to going, to go from the gap to the next iteration? And that's what I think it's in my TEDx that I'm very clear on this. I say it's a quiet season syndrome. We feel that nothing is working, no clients, no revenue. What the heck? And we start judging. But now here's what I know. And this is where the word courage that you use, I love. That's my favorite word. Get ready, because it's coming. It's a time to be ready for what's coming. And easy when you have invoices to pay, right? To say. But each time and every time, if I go back, I can see that's what was the thing. It was low tides because the tides are about to go high, and you have to fill up your cup or whatever. We all have something to take care of that maybe we don't want to see. But maybe if we take more walks, we do more breathing, we do more relaxation, I do a lot of primal screaming, like release the anger, the fear, the shaming.
Oh, I love that.
Then your emotion that is stuck is going to come out, and then you'll be able to, first your nervous system is going to regulate. You're going to be able to go to your heart and listen to your body, even the way your body shrinks. Where does it shrink? Where does it move? Like, it's really a relationship with the body that really, Anissa, like, there 2 years ago, I was like screaming and crying on my yoga mat in front of my office, if I could show you here, because nothing was working the way. And you have to, that's the concept of surrendering. Because what I find is that when we're in the gap, we want to control. And then control, shrink our energy. If you look at the cone of the emotional scale, depression is at the the tiny cone, and love and bliss is that, like, it's like a cone, right? So when you are in a constricted state, you are at the bottom of all those low emotional states, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But the way we create opportunities is when we're in higher frequency. So the key is to really feel those emotions, and that's what I learned about surrendering. Feel it all, and it's not fun. I'm telling you that this is the only way you can go back up, because this is the case of so many women. We put everything under the carpet, right? Repress, suppress for years, generation. You're healing for your mom and your grandmother and the one before. I always say for the medieval farmers, I'm healing too,
Yeah.
right?
Hell yeah.
So I love this question, because if you're in the gap, the only way to get out of the gap is, number one, appreciating being in the gap. Learning, what am I learning about myself here? What is it? It's not a punishment, I promise you, even if it feels like this. Like, this is how we grow. I guess that's it. This is how we grow, by being in the gap. And who are you in the gap when things don't work the way you want? Are you like that bitchy person? Like, are you mad at the world? Like, or how you, like, this is just, I guess, a season of observation as well, about how much we grew. I see that for myself, like when I'm in the gap, I'm like, how much did I grow? Many times I would have closed the business with my old way of being, many times. But this is how I see when I am in a gap. Where am I at now? Do I make it mean anything about myself? I am not my business. This is one of the reasons why I created my corporation, because my identity was my business. Now I have Social Media Love, and I am me, and I am the best ambassador for Social Media Love. So it's like also distancing you, like every circumstances we are in. First, we are the cause of it, and second, it's a discovery journey, and it hurts sometimes more than others, but it always works at the end. And that's what I've learned. It always works.
I love you to bits, Angelique, because they say your vibe attracts your tribe, and I enjoy that, because you're speaking so much of exactly what I embody and what I have a passion to put out into the world, because you have highlighted something that we all do and are hardwired to do. We are told we cannot feel our emotions, but our emotions is energy and emotion. So if you don't feel it, where is it going? It's getting stuck somewhere. So we have to. So previously, before, and I'm saying, I'm not even, I'm going to be brutally honest, for those that think us showing up here, sharing this insight and wisdom, that we don't go through the difficult, dark periods. No, we go through them. And I will say we grow through them, and that is why we feel so passionately inspired to come here and show you that even us, we're sitting here, but we are the lived experiences to be able to show the mirror back to you and say, it is okay to not be okay, and that nothing is meant to be permanent, and everything is imperfectly perfect. I always say that, but we have to change the narrative of not feeling our darkest, difficult, the dis-ease, the discomfort, the dissonance. We have to sit within that, but from a place of sovereignty, not disempowerment. Because when we're sitting in that space, Angelique, often it is, why is this happening to me? What have I done? I'm serving for the greater good of everyone else. So surely this shouldn't be happening to me. But what I have personally discovered, and I'm sure you can resonate with this, Angélique, is that all of these experiences are the catalyzers to just shift and elevate you to the next part of your journey. Because it's not linear. That is why I asked the question, what insights and what is the wisdom? Because we can't see the gifts and the opportunities when we're sitting in that darkness.
Mm-hmm.
But when we feel through it, that's when we can come into light. It's like the lotus flower that needs to grow in mud. It cannot grow to its splendor and beauty without being in the mud, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And sometimes it's really muddy.
Very muddy. It's very muddy. But you said something about the visualization work that you do. And it's so critical because you're either visualizing the version that is connected to that imposter, that feeling of lack and scarcity and a poverty mindset that is connected to the past stories and those conditioning of which is much of your childhood actually. So we all walking alongside our inner child. I want you to share with us, Angélique, how you nurtured your inner child, but the critical controlling version that was trying to, in this illusion, say that I'm in control and I'm not good enough in this instance. Hey, I'm not yet ready to be on that big stage or hold up that camera yet because I don't have the qualifications, or I am not yet in the right circles, or I'm actually a farm girl. So how dare I think I can walk in these circles? So, what are some of those narratives and stories that you had to tame, embrace, and integrate to this version that is in front of us today?
I love it. So, number one, I want to honor my little girl. She's with me here. You see, that's me at the
Yeah.
farm with my dog. So,
Oh, man.
she's always with me. And that's why I have this photo on me. And I don't know if you see the sweater. My friend
Yeah.
my friend knitted the sweater. So when that's one of my tools. When I need to do, for example, a big phone call, or I need to send that email that I know that once it's sent, there is no return, you know, I put like a cape. It's like a hero cape, you know, it's my sweater of my little girl. Because my little girl, so I do a lot of inner child release process sessions with myself, or to women entrepreneurs I work with in their marketing. And like, we see the inner child show up when it's time to sell. Who am I to sell? Who am I to raise my price? Who am I to reach out to this person? The belonging, you know, the fear of rejections. And so my little girl was very attached to the stories around, you're a farmer, you stay a farmer, you don't know, like you don't have any culture, your ideas don't, like that story is very strong. So this is kind of the number one story that I rewired in myself. And so I want to tell everybody watching this, it's not something you do once and it's done, right? Because at every next level where you're gonna have like 10 times visibility, that part of you in your little girl is gonna come chime. But because we become so aware of it, we notice it. And once you notice, there is nothing else that can happen that you noticed. Once you've seen something, you've seen it. So I usually interrupt right there. And this is when I do any of the somatic work that I mentioned. I go for a walk, I take a bath, or I scream, or I have so many ways to do it. So, and then after that, I ask myself what the woman in the vision I have would do. And then I don't go there. I listen to the real answer here. And sometimes this one is like, no way, we cannot do that now. So the key here is to stay on course. Again, whatever comes as an answer is what needs to be actionated. So I actionate. So let's say that for whatever reason, the action, I'm so resistant. So I'm going to go with my body and I'm going to talk to her. And I call myself Little Angie. And so I remember the very, very big leap I took to heal a generation of farmers in my family was to do a luxury retreat in a hotel in France. And if you're interested, I wrote a book, and the first chapter is about this and my mom and my grandparents. So that day I healed my little girl, but before it was done, I had to go through those steps many, many times. And I would say, I would close my eyes and I would say, little Angie. So I would breathe to calm my nervous system first, and then I would talk to her and say, little Angie, what do you need? Like, what are you scared of? I know you're scared because you've never done this before. I know, but you know our vision. Like, look at how many people we're already helping. What if we could help like 10 times more people? What can I do to make you happy today? And you're going to let me do that move. And sometimes she says, let's go to a movie after. And literally, I have to go to a movie with her because she let me do the whatever I had to do. So I have a very, like, I always connect with my little girl because she has the limitation. She has the hurt. There is a lot of hurt around money, right? So when we do inner child release processes, we always go back to a time when something happened. And it's in your subconscious mind. So sometimes you're like, oh my God, I didn't remember that thing. Sometimes you don't even you're like, really? And so you go back to that moment, not to relive it, but just to kind of go and talk to your little girl in that scene, to kind of take her out of the scene, reassure her that nobody, like anyone in her situation, would have reacted the same, thought the same, feel the same, like really validate her emotional states rather than shuffling under the carpet. Like, let your little girl feel the shame, guilt, or whatever happened. And then you take her back with you. So I literally do that on myself as well, depending on how deep the things is that day that I need to actionate something. But I'm telling you, the more, like for the TEDx, as you said, it's oh my God, like that was super negotiation with my little girls, like big time. But she's always there. I never ignore her, and I reassure her. So when I reassure her, what I do, it's regulating my nervous system. It's also being aware of feeling emotions of the past, removing them if they haven't been felt, because that's the key. Things that we've done early in our lives that was not felt because it was not, we were not giving ourselves permission to feel it, because we would have been even more exposed or judged or rejected. It's still in your body, and it's not a magical thing. It's an imprint on your nervous system. So every time there is someone that didn't know you 20 years ago or 30 years or 40 years ago, and they do or say something or just show up in a certain way, and your body's like, oh my God, danger. And then there is an argument, or there is whatever. The person has nothing to do. It's just activated a memory in your body that protects you from being exposed again to that event that happened months ago. And it doesn't have to be a trauma with a big T. It can be like little things. Like the first time I pooped at school, like when I was 2, I didn't know it was like so much in my subconscious mind. But like, that's the first time I did the inner child release stuff. That's where we went.
Wow. Amazing, right? I mean, one would never even comprehend that that's where we would go. But I do hear you saying that walk alongside your inner girl, your inner boy, forgive her for how she showed up, love her, accept her, thank her for how she managed to walk you to this version, because you are her and
Yeah.
she's you, right? And so again, it's to find that oneness and to find that peace and contentment with both versions. And I adore the fact that you take your pick with you everywhere,
Well,
so that,
yeah, I now even teach sales techniques with your little
yeah,
girl. So I studied that this year. I'm like, I'm just gonna go all in because it's something that is not taught enough.
yeah,
Come with me for an afternoon and we're gonna do sales training with your inner child. And that is changing the
ooh,
game because there is no more, what if I don't, reaching out to someone, putting up a new programs and you don't tell anyone that you did. Like all those things is from her. It's not because you don't know how to do
yeah.
marketing or sales. Okay. So this is so
Angelique,
helpful.
we have to do a segment just on that.
All right, I'm all in.
So, so just like Gillian and I said last week, hey, I mean, our time has lapsed. We come to the end of today and we're just getting started into the real meat of what it is and what it takes to grow our businesses. It takes, and everything that I got from today was know yourself so well enough. But to know yourself means to heal yourself, to love and radically accept yourself. Give yourself love, empathy, compassion, and kindness, like you would extend to your beloved sister, your spouse, your children. And only once you get to that space of radical acceptance and love and forgiveness, then you can sell. You don't even need to sell. You will manifest just naturally.
Hmm.
Everything will attract. And so I do believe that that is a segment on its own. Please do go and find another spot in the diary because
Okay.
I was surprised you got this segment today because we actually booked up for months ahead. So please just go and schedule
Okay.
at least another session. And that will be how do we take our inner child with us when we're trying to grow our businesses or scale it? You can decide what we're going to call it
Yeah.
when we have the
Okay.
segment.
Yeah. No, I love
And
this because
you may even want to invite, we could say, one of your clients that have done this work with you.
oh yeah,
Those that
yeah,
can be testimony, they can come on in a
that would be
short piece, or
fun.
they can stay the whole segment.
Yeah,
We can
that would
make it
be fun.
exciting.
Yeah, awesome. You're amazing and so
So,
generous. Thank you.
so my darling, as we have reached the end, I am so grateful and thankful. And as I say every week, even if we've touched one person, we don't just touch one person. We change a home. We healing multiple generations, like our mothers, our grandmothers, etc., etc. So the work here has a ripple effect. Don't ever think that what you're serving with has not got its place and value. And so I'm going to give you the last word to close us out. And then you do stay with me on the segment so that we could do a short debrief afterwards. So, what would
Beautiful.
be one final closeout that you want to leave the audience with based on what we shared today?
I'm gonna share with you if there is one thing that you would like to become more visible on in your business, I would love for you to go for a walk or do something that you love doing and be open to receive the answer of the next move in that area.
Mm,
Don't have
mm,
any expectation, don't have an answer that comes from here yet. Like, I just want to offer you this experience because you have all the answers in you.
beautiful. So, slow, soft surrender and trust the process. So, on that note, thank you for those that have joined us on Instagram. I know I was so immersed in Angelique's energy and her wisdom that I did not acknowledge those that are here. But thank you for joining us from Instagram, from YouTube, and those that are here on LinkedIn. Those that are going to watch the replay, we will post on the same event post where you can get hold of Angelique. So until next week, we'll see you again, same time, same place. And don't hesitate to reach out if you would like to share your own hero or hero's journey. So on that note, goodbye and see you next week.
Bye.